see a funny tattoo? Yes. My favorite moment of the evening is the half beat when everyone goes, is it dick? Maybe we'll see. It's not. It's not. It's on my tummy. This is my zipper. I've had 8 surgeries, 14 screws, 3 plates, and 1 fully reconstructed digestive system. I am the world's unluckiest magician. I also have complex regional pain syndrome, commonly known as the suicide disease, and it is the world's most painful disease. I am a catch. And we're going to get through all that. We're going to have there's going to be a whole story. It's like a whole thing. There's emotions and everything. But first, this was advertised as a magic show. And I should do a magic trick to start off. Firstly, though, this is the Orb of Mystery. And it's going to sit right here in this empty seat. Now, if the Orb of Mystery pops before the end of the show, you will literally ruin everything. So, just saying. Keep any hat pins to yourself. So we're going to do a card trick to get started. We're going to do the first card trick I ever learned that could impress a nurse, because I learned magic in hospital. Magic that a lot of times. And a lot of times you try and do a card trick for a nurse and they're like, try again, nerd. I've seen people's legs fall off. Nice try. But this is the first one that really got a reaction. So we're going to open with a banger. Is there anyone in the audience who really likes magic and would really like to be part of the trick? These people do exist. There might not be any here tonight. Is there anyone who's like, cool, I'll go for the next best thing. This man standing here with his arms folded. Big hand for this guy. Stand there. Smile. Face the front. Pretend you're having fun. Excellent. Now, as I go through the deck, pick out any card. I can know which one. It's not that kind of a trick. 10 of diamonds. Do you know what that tells me about your aura, your soul, that you chose that card underneath the one moon of Edinburgh tonight? Nothing. You shouldn't read too much into these things. It's just a card trick. Did you bring a pen to the proceedings? No, that's fine. I keep a spare one in my nose. Now, sir, I'd like you to write your name on the front on that card there.
On the face?
Yes. If you do it the other way, it does not work. Now, you guys might not be able to see this, but on top of my rad, stylish stocking cap, I have an invisible magic hat. Because I have an invisible magic hat, I can do magic tricks. Many people will tell you that magic comes from books and training. These people are frauds and liars. It's all in the magic hat. Now, that's misdirection. I say stop. As I go through,
stop.
Take that one, put it there. Just like that. Now, as I said, because I have the magic hat, do magic tricks apparently, as I shuffle the cards, snap, tap, and your card jumps to the top just like that. But I know what you're thinking. I could have found out your name before when I was hiding under the bench looking for watches to steal. So to make sure it's definitely your card, write your last name on there as well. Please make sure. Definitely your card. No funny business. Literacy, the greatest magic of all. Okay. Pen doesn't really work. Just, we'll take it. Just mark it. It's fine. You know what? Wow. That pen doesn't really work. Good talk. So, we're going to take this card that's been signed twice, I assure you. And then we're going to put it here into the middle. Now, give it a tap on the top. And you can see it doesn't work. Do you know why?
I didn't tap.
You didn't tap very well. No, you don't have a magical hat. You don't pay attention very well. So we're going to take this one, put it on top. Now give you the hat, and I'll give you the hat. Sorry, it doesn't work without the hat. You feel good? Yeah? Give it a tap. You can see it jumps to the top just like that. It's going to even. Go ahead and push it in. Boop. Give it a tap. Card jumps to the top just like that. The magic hat is truly all-powerful. Thank you. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I must have a camera app installed on my watch, which connects to a wireless printer in my heel, that then has a series of pulleys running up through the back of my clothes that's connected to a slit in my forearm that I installed in Switzerland by a devious plastic surgeon who was outlawed in other countries for doing some barbaric practices. Right? Yeah. So, to make sure this is definitely your card, do your best with that shitty pen to write all over it. It's still a clickable Sharpie. Draw whatever's in your secret secret heart, the very essence of your being, or just quit and we'll move on. Oh no, it's not marked. All right, so one indubitably marked card. Yeah? No way I could swap anything else. So we're going to take it, put it in here. Now, give me that. Now stick out your hands. Turn them the other way around. I'm going to take this card here, put that on top. Now, I'm going to snap my fingers. Your card's going to leap out of the deck, circle around the room, and land on your face. You're going to lose your shit. Keep your hands together there. We'll see. That's just. Oh, that's not even your card. What? Unluckiest indeed. Oh, no. Actually, you know what it is? You still have my magic hat. Sorry. To make it up to you, that little snafu, I'll bring it up to the top while it's still in your hands. Did you feel that? Keep your hands together, though. That was your card jumping to the top. Just confirm to everyone that is the top card.
That is the top card.
That is the top card, and that is his card in his hand. I did overpromise. But tell you what, to get this show started, a great burst of energy. If I made all the cards in his hands vanish, would you guys go absolutely bananas? Give me a huge round of applause. I'll eat all that energy like a creepy showbiz vampire, and we'll have an awesome time for the next 40-ish minutes. Sound good? Yes. Feel that? That was all your cards vanishing. Open up your hand. And you can see that all your cards have actually vanished. You can take that for a souvenir. Big hands all over there. All right, we're best friends forever now. Go sit down. Okay. It cost me $13 every time I do that trick. I don't know where the cards go. One of the first things people notice about me is my accent. I put the emphasis on the wrong syllables. I was born in America, where the accents are very pointy. Kind of thing that really carries across the department store. Like, Diane, where's my kidney medication? Really piercing syllables, you know? And I moved to London just before I turned 16. I went to a pub and I said, can I have a glass of tap water with ice? And he said, fuck off, yank. And he handed me a pint of flat, lukewarm beer. And I discovered that it was better just to say like I was from London. I didn't have the American accent. I just ditched that in the trash, no casual racism. Hey, no bother, it was brilliant. And then I met my wife. And she lives up here in Scotland. And I had discovered, as I moved up to Scotland, that my English accent was even less popular in Scotland than my American accent had been in England. So I became Scottish. And that is the best accent. Because in Scottish, any word is an insult. Like, see you, you're a balloon. And then first you're like, that's all right, balloons, parties, everybody likes a balloon. But actually, wait a minute, a balloon's just a gas bag. Somebody's second-hand spit wrapped in latex. Actually, fuck you, mate, you're a trumpet. Both the ice cream cone and the instrument, he can cram them up your ass. It's such a great accent to be a prick in. It's fantastic. If you really want to put the boot in, you put absolute in front of it, like you're an absolute teapot. And it's fighting words. Fighting words. When tragedy nails us, we have three options, right? We can laugh, we can cry, or we can die. I choose to laugh because it's fun. Crying, you know, everyone needs a good cry, but not the best show material. And death is, again, inevitable, but also not a lot of market for snuff at the Fringe. So, the one person laughing is the one person I knew would get that joke. It's fantastic. So, as I was saying, laughing, right? That's why I do the zipper, okay? And people see like a big scar and they want to go, oh, they want to connect, but they're like, I want you to go, ha! Like it's crazy. It's a ridiculous story that I'm about to tell you. And there are real human jokes embedded in here, which you are free to laugh at. These are my tragedies and I'm gifting them to you. So it's okay to laugh. Cool? You might have a few reactions as we go through. You might go, ah! Give me an You might go, ah! You might go, ha! Ha! Good. All right, you guys are excellent vibes. This is gonna be great. get started. Have a look at my guts. Have a look at my guts. You already got to play. Have a look at my guts. Okay. Oh, don't lose them though. They're important for my digestion. It's okay, they're not real guts. This is an allegory. As you check them out, make sure they're regular ropes. No wires, no magnets. Just 3 bits of rope like you'd buy in any magic shop or find under your parents' bed. Or your bed. I don't know what you're into. It's the future. So, cast your minds back to the start of the story. I was 13 in America. I was a boy becoming a man. And I discovered that my tummy started to hurt. Just like that. You'll see why I burp as I go through the story. So, 13, boy becoming a man, tummy starts to hurt, and I ignored it, because that's what men do. Right? Until the day came when I sat on the toilet and did my usual business, and I noticed there was a distinct reddish hue in the tool. And I said, Mom, come quick! Not in the come see the amazing turd that I've laid, because there's a certain pride in brewing something awesome, but in a different way. And she came and she said, shit! And I go, no, blood. So give me my guts back. 1. So we went to see 2, 3. So we went to see a gastroenterologist. And he explained that your digestive system has 3 parts, right? You have your large intestine, your small intestine, and your duodenum and rectum, or butthole, as it's commonly known. Now, in some people, nobody knows why, the immune system starts to attack your large intestine. It's called ulcerative colitis. And really, if you look at it from a different point of view, you can see that all 3 of these things are actually as equally important. You have 1, 2, 3 parts of the digestive system that are all the same. This is an applause cue. It's fine, it's hot. So, he said you have ulcerative colitis. It can result in the amazingly named toxic megacolon, where your immune system kills your intestines stone dead in the space of a day. I hope to see them in concert one day, because that's a fantastic band name, and I bet they have a rager of a mosh pit. Unfortunately, Toxic Megacolon has yet to open in a city near you. If you're a metal drummer, please, make it happen. Anyway, I didn't get Toxic Megacolon. I got regular colon disease, and the treatment for this was steroids, right, to reduce the inflammation. So I was 14, in the throes of adolescence, with an extra 50 milligrams of testosterone a day. I was a prick! And the horniest thing that has ever been alive in the history of time. But my mom was like, my son's an asshole, but he's alive. We'll deal with it. And then about when I was 20, the medicine stopped working. You know, I started losing weight, more blood in my stools. It was really bad. My hair was falling out, but that was a separate issue. And the doctor said if we take out your large intestine, then your immune system won't have anything to attack anymore. I was like, awesome. Anything that stops me pooping blood. I'm for this intervention. So they took out my large intestine, and they connected up my small intestine to the side of my abdomen. And it was called a stoma. And you have a bag to collect your output. The weird thing, and they don't tell you this before, is that your stoma still has its peristalsis. That's the motion of your intestines as they try and wiggle your hose through your digestive tract. And that's still there. So 4 o'clock in the morning when you're changing your output bag, and this hypnotic eye of Sauron is just like, and you're just like drawn into your own stomach, and then this piece of corn goes, bloop. That is an image that has haunted me, and will now stay with you. But after 6 weeks, my intestines had healed enough that they could make a pouch out of the end of my small intestine, and they cut the middle out of the pouch, and then they reconnected everything so I could poop again, which was great. I had mixed feelings. Having the stoma saved me a fortune on toilet paper. If it had happened during COVID, I would have been set. And I felt right. For the first time since I was 13, I didn't have an internal diseased organ inside of me. Internal diseased organ, another excellent band name, by the way. I felt awesome. And I went off, and I felt great for about 6 months. And then my intestines twisted around the scar tissue inside my abdomen. They popped. Which leaves your output on your insides, and your insides the wrong way around. You know that confused clap we did before? This is the time. Luckily, we have medical science, and they can go in and just snip that bad boy back out like that. You guys want the bonus rope trick? Yes. So I spent a lot of time talking about the ends of a rope. The ends, they're the easiest parts to manipulate. But the middle doesn't get a lot of play. It's like a middle brother, and it acts up and it wants attention. And sometimes right in the middle of your trick, it'll just jump right off. And then you have a middleless rope with no ends and 4 pieces, and that's just dumb. So we'll go back to 1, right? 1 piece of rope. Now how many did we start with? 3. 1, 2, 3 bits of rope. You hold on to this one. You hold on to that one. I'll hold on to this one. Now, on the count of 3, everyone is going to give me the most magical foofy blow, and they'll all go back to being different, and you'll all be very impressed. You ready? 1, 2, 3. And that is the saga of my intestines. Thank you. And you think at 23, God damn it, there is a working pen in here. At 23, you think, that's a good story, right? I had a childhood disease, I overcame it, and then I had a horrible tragedy, and I overcame that, and, that looks good on a resume. That sounds good, it's a story you can tell over coffee if you're trying them. That's great, it's great, it's a good little story to have. And it was with that attitude that I ran out into my adult life as a young adult, and I moved in with 2 semi-professional skateboarders. And I thought I can still skateboard. I used to do that when I was a kid. And I discovered, though, that you don't bounce when you're 24 like you do when you're 14. And I broke my L5 vertebrae in the bottom of a bowl, which pressed on my spinal cord and which hurt. This is also 2 weeks before I met my wife, who has been with me through the entirety of the rest of the story. So as we go through, just give her a little bit of grace for the shit she's had to put. Woohoo! Hooray for wives! They keep us safe and dressed. Okay, so I had this fall. I break my L5 vertebrae. It hurts. They say we have to do an L5S1 fusion. That's where they lift up your bone and they put 4 screws in plates, and then they put in some bone, and then it makes 1 solid lump, right? Now, even though I'd hurt my back, it was my legs that gave me the pain, because as your nerves go up, they enter your spinal cord, but that's where the injury is, and your brain thinks it's coming from further down, because the human body is stupidly designed, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. So, broke my L5 vertebrae, and it worked. My legs stopped hurting. I was like, awesome. And I start working as a support worker, very fulfilling work with people with severe mental health stuff. They were great fun. And one night we get in a doner kebab pizza. This is a traditional Scottish fare. And they need that much fat to survive the brutal winters up here. But I'm not from this barren rock in the middle of the North Sea, and my system can't handle that much fat. So the resulting flood of saturated fats dislodged the gallstone, lodged the gallstone in the neck of my gallbladder, cut off the blood supply to my gallbladder, killing my gallbladder, and giving me gangrene. And they said, we're going to have to yeet that bad boy out. And I was like, cool, anything that stops me smelling like almonds. So, again, I'm very sick. They pull out the organ. I feel amazing. It's awesome. The medical science is rad. And I live my life. And then in Edinburgh, somebody steals the front brake off my bike. Dick move, right? So I go to the bike co-op and I get a new front brake for my bike. Presumably stolen from somebody else's bike. They're kind of like umbrellas. And I put it on, I notice it's a bit better than my old front brake, and I'm coming down a hill, and I slam on my brakes as a taxi pulls in front of me, and I go flying over my handlebars. And I think, don't hurt your back, don't hurt your back. So I land on my hands and knees, and I broke my humerus, which wasn't very funny. And the doctor said we're going to have to put 2 screws in there to keep that together. I'm getting kind of bored of surgery. I say, what if I don't have the surgery? They said, well, you can't use your elbow. And my elbow goes like this. And I thought I wanted to keep that motion. So they screwed me back together. And it worked, and it was great. About this time, we moved to New Zealand. Because I figure I cost the NHS enough. And we opened a paint-your-own pottery cafe. It's a beautiful, artistic space that makes no money. And I noticed that my legs started to hurt after a while, right? And they do some investigations, and they find out that the fusion in my back hadn't fused. I, in fact, had a screw loose. 4 of them. I literally had a screw loose. My dad thought this was the funniest thing that had ever happened to anyone in the history of time, and would loudly mention it at the hardware store. And they go in, bigger screws, more metal, more bone to really lift that paint, and it works again. My legs start to feel better. At this point, I'm basically a Terminator. I feel like I'm indestructible. And so with that attitude, I went to my old show, and I used to juggle a bowling ball and 2 bowling pins as the opener for my show, because I wanted a closer for an opening. Stop. And I caught that bowling ball at the Dunedin Fringe, and the weight from the bowling ball traveled up my arm and compressed my spine and popped 2 discs in my neck in front of 400 people, leaving me to say a very bad word. And I finished the show, because I'm a professional, and I locked off, and then it felt like there was a zip tie around this finger, right? Because even though I hurt up here, my brain thought it was down here. Again, stupidly designed systems that don't work right. Just a pile of meat somehow works. And I talked to my physiotherapist, and she said, well, neck injuries, they normally heal. They're normally quite small. And I showed her my MRI, and she goes, bleh, no, please put that away. Ugh. My neck had exploded. It fucking hurt. So they did a C3 to C5 fusion. They go into the front, pull your windpipe to the side, and go more bone. And the zip tie across my neck, on my finger, vanished overnight. It was amazing. But pain was really here to stay, and it started to dictate a lot of my life. I noticed that my nails were digging into my palms a lot. I was getting really grumpy. I walked through life just kind of like this, and pain was really starting to overwhelm me. After going through all this tragedy, I was starting to get beat up by my own nervous system. And it is here that we will stop, and you will award yourself a round of applause. Well done for getting through the trauma porn section of the Now, you all deserve a treat, but treats are expensive. Does anybody in the audience have any paper money for the next trip? Real paper or plastic money from any currency, any country. Bigger the bill, the more impressive the trip. Hey, this guy! Big hand for this man who has money as he walks up to the stage with his money. All right, so I'm going to go grab my working pen. Now, you have 2 jobs for me. 10 euros held continental. Your first job is to write your name on the front of that note for me, so we know it's definitely yours. You can still spend them. I promise you, I've done it before. Now, your second job is to be like my cheerleader. Okay? So I'm just going to say, go Steve! At the appropriate time. Okay, so I'll try. I just got to put this one out. Ah! So, when I say do the thing, you're going to go like this. And all these guys are going to go, give you a huge round of applause, or I still feel very embarrassed and I'll have to talk to his therapist. And you don't want that kind of weight on your conscience. Now, we'll do a practice. Do the thing. That was shit and you know it. Try again. Do the thing. There we go. All right. Now behold, as I present to you, the impressive, ancient, oriental art of origami. I learned origami from my uncle who lived in the Philippines. He's a manila folder. Yeah, you can take that one to your grades. Now behold, get ready to do the thing as I present to you the pinnacle of my Filipino uncle's origami abilities, a rectangle. Do the thing. All right. Now, Rob, have you ever been to an ear party?
No.
I assure you, you have been to an ear party. So take this. I'm going to put it in here. Now stick out your tongue. You are now high. Right, Rob. I have here 3 envelopes. This is to confuse you. I'm going to ask you a series of increasingly difficult questions and give you a chance to win back some of your money. Question number 1. What is your name?
Rob.
Correct. Big hand for Rob, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. What a very strong conversion. What is the capital of Scotland?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Incorrect. S is the capital of Scotland. S. Right. Question number 3. What is the square root of 3,790 over pi r p2 8 squared?
2.5.
Incorrect. I would have accepted I don't know. 1 out of 3 is not bad though. Give it a big hand for Rob, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look inside and see what you've won. Nothing. It's empty? Really? Oh shit. Tell you what, get another 10 euros, we'll do it again. No, I'm joking, you see, because I took the money and I vanished it off to an ethereal subspace dimension, and it rolled across the floor, ricocheted off the ceiling, bounced off that man's head, and ended up in his right-hand front pocket. Reach into your pocket. But he did not stop there. It continued on its epic journey. Get ready to do the thing to the purple bag of mystery, and do the thing. There's 2 things in here, Rob. What do you think the first one might be?
A pen?
A pen. Incorrect. It is a knife. Take that knife, examine it, show it to the audience. You can lightly threaten them if you're feeling mean. Show them it's a regular knife stolen from the dirty cutlery drawer previous to the show. Now there's another item in here, Rob. What do you think it might be?
10 euros?
10 euros. Incorrect. It is the mystery lemon, which today is an orange. Now watch. It's like cut around the circumference, which is a fancy word for perimeter. I turn 2 to the right, 3 to the left. Lift that off there. Show everyone something you'll remember for a very long time. Up gold. Your signed 10 euro note. Inside an orange. Sealed by God himself. Right, here's that, so you can clean that off. And here. Sit down. Big hand for Rob, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't always give out baby wipes, and it was mean. So, pain. Pain really starts to take over. They can't put any more screws in me. I'm 90% metal. Although I don't set off airport metal detectors, and it really bothers me that I don't get to do that. Anyway. Pain, so they start putting me on drugs, right? Lots of drugs. Antidepressants, anti-epileptics, anything to try and calm down my screaming nervous system. Now, these drugs only have a 30% success rate for chronic pain. And if your toaster only worked 30% of the time, you wouldn't use it. But they have to trial me through all these things to see if anything can help. A few did. Pregabalin did really help with my leg pain. Most didn't. I got a lot of brain fog. I used to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube. Now I can't remember my phone number. Like, there are real consequences to pushing all these chemicals through your system. And in fact, I took so many steroids when I was a teenager to fight the ulcerative colitis that when I was in my 20s, my bones were actually osteopenic. I had thin bird lady, old lady bones. Which is why I broke so many of them in the second half of the story, right? So it's not without consequence. All this stuff. I investigate plant medicine as well. I use medical cannabis. I say medical cannabis. I really prescribed it to myself. I was like, weed for you. And I gave it to my dealer, and he goes, I do not need this. And it takes my screaming nervous system just going, Jesus, shit, fuck, ow, why are there screws in me, and where are my intestines? And instead I have the medical cannabis go, wait, where am I? Wait, what? Should we have ice cream? And then we have ice cream, and it's rad. It's just kind of like it's a neural laxative. It just helps things flow. It's so much screaming. I also microdose with magic mushrooms, sometimes mini dose, because chronic pain and depression are just like this, yeah? Also, and this is a weird one, because I'm missing my large intestine, I don't have 98% of my microbiome. Because I don't have my microbiome, makes 96% of your body's serotonin. So I have to rabbit punch myself in the serotonin receptors so the thought, maybe I should kill myself, doesn't rattle around inside my head. But this isn't something a doctor will tell you. These kinds of health journeys are long and complex. Now, if you want to feel what being on all these different drugs is like, just lay back and relax for the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds, roughly. unfocus your eyes a bit, just relax. Just have a chill. That's the full Bowie. See, David Bowie steals a baby, he becomes a cultural icon. I steal a baby and I'm on a list. I don't think that's fair. The one that makes it look like I have 3 hands. String broke, sorry. I just need to borrow a piece of your hair, if that's alright. Sorry. Sorry. So elegant. So, pain's really starting to control my life. And it's difficult. Because pain's, everywhere. People ask, how are you doing? And you can't give them, a 15-minute monologue about your trauma and then tell them about your pain is. And the stress of trying to keep up that mask was almost as difficult as the pain itself. I have an invisible disability. Has anybody here heard of spoon theory? One, a couple of them? It's a common metaphor that disabled people use to try and communicate exactly how our lives are functioning. It's invented by a woman with lupus. And her friend said, what's it like? What's it really like living with a disability? So she took the spoons. She said, you have your day, and you have this handful of spoons. This is how you have to navigate your day. You have to budget your spoons. So her friend goes, okay, so I get ready, I go to work, I come home, I cook dinner, and then her friend goes, no. She gathers the spoons. You get out of bed, you brush your teeth, you do basic household maintenance. You feed yourself. You try to find joy. And you have to budget all of these into a specific amount of spoons, and it's difficult, this balancing. And you can borrow spoons from tomorrow, but you have to repay them with interest. And I found myself, as I've gone through the course of my life that happened in between the ridiculous stories, I always lived never wanting to say, what if? Because I knew what if. I tasted death. When the worst thing that can happen happens, it tends to cure anxiety. So I promise you, whatever's holding you back, whatever you're scared of, it is no worse than the things life can give you. I flyered the streets in high heels at 3 o'clock in the morning. I even performed for the Queen, or it might have been a bunch of queens. I can't remember. Either way, it was fabulous. I've had a very full life in between, so just go and do the fun thing. That's my advice from me to you. Now it's difficult when people share trauma or hard topics. We're not taught how to respond. So I'm going to give you a gift. If there's one thing you take away with you, this is the thing. When you know someone who's had something terrible happen, all you have to say is, wow, that is rough. Confirm their reality and say, shit, I am here if you need anything. All it takes. We don't need the performance. We don't need what you think you're supposed to say. Just real connection. Because trauma and tragedy strip away that polite lie that we tell each other about not me, not today. But really, it's definitely me and probably someday. Death comes for us all. And we don't like to be reminded of it. So connection. That's what's important. People with disability. And pain's ruining my life. I can't even walk around a supermarket. I get so bad, I get referred for a spinal cord stimulator. This is where they take a 9-volt battery, implant it in your body, wire it to your spinal cord, and then the electrical current overrides the pain signals, and you can have a pain-free life. And I was like, awesome, another quick, proper Western medicine fix. I'll be uncomfortable, and I can go on living my life without thinking about it, no accountability. I can do whatever I want all the day long, just like a proper Western existence, like I was promised in the 80s. And they did a review, and they said, no, you can't have that one. I said, fuck off, very strongly. They said, instead, you can have the Choices Program, which stands for Choosing Hope, Obtaining Information, and Changing Through Effective Strategies. Lame, right? But I don't know what I don't know, and I'm in a tough spot. So I go, and it's 3 weeks of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. physiotherapy, biofeedback, education, meditation techniques, relaxation, aquatherapy, more relaxation, more education, and everything you need to know to understand how your body functions from a cellular chemical level to a perceptual pain level, why your body is messed up, and how you can use your own neuroplasticity to repair your broken nervous system. So these are the lessons I learned in pain camp. Take your fingers and make a pinchy hand. Now pinch the skin on the back of your hand. And keep going, and go harder and harder and harder, and eventually you'll get to a point where you're like, ow, I don't like that very much. If you keep going, you might get to a point where you're like, ooh, I quite like that. But that's a different later show. So you can let go now. So the lesson here is there is no such thing as a pain receptor. You have pressure, heat, and chemical. And any combination of these inputs above a certain level equals the mental object of pain. A warm, fuzzy blanket, that feels nice. Hand on a hot stove, not so much. The thing that really made it click for me was the tale of an Australian snake researcher. He was out walking in the bush and a leaf brushed against his leg. He didn't think anything of it. Turns out a brown snake had bitten and he almost died. Now 6 months later, he's walking through the bush again, and an actual leaf brushes his leg, and it feels like a line of fire. Because his brain had labeled the input level of things that feel like leaves in fields way down here, because last time we almost died. So your brain puts an arbitrary level on how much of these inputs is too much. Now for me, because I could be walking down the stairs and my guts literally explode, my brain labeled the entire world as dangerous. And my input levels were totally messed up. Now the secret sauce, the secret to making it work is 80%. Right? So I timed how many times I can sit down and stand up from a chair. Basic exercise. See how many I can do in a minute. And I do 80% of those. 3 times a week, every week, for 3 years. If my legs start hurting after I've been standing for 20 minutes, I have to set a timer on my watch and sit down at 15 and take a break and then go back. If I'm flying for my show, I have to set a timer on my watch. There's only so many spoons I can spend before the pain starts to build. And I have to be really strict with myself. If I'm doing fun stuff, I have to set a timer and do something and then fuck off. And it takes a lot of accountability and self-discipline to be able to make this stuff work. You have to be at a very specific point in your pain journey for this program to work. And over the last 3 years, I've used these techniques and I've managed to rewire myself from the point where I couldn't walk around a supermarket to the place where I can do a higher Fringe show for you guys. And I think that's pretty rad. The icing on the cake, though, is for the last 45 minutes, I've not had any pain. When I'm on the streets, when I'm walking around, I literally walk around like this. I'm curled up. This paint's just condensing me. But here, I fucking fly, man. So that thing that I said, where if you know someone who's broken, just say, I'm here for you. You've done that. You've done your good deed for the day, and you have given me the gift of 45 minutes without pain. So thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I have one final feat for you guys. I'm going to blow your minds out of the back of your heads. For this is the brick of selection. And he, she, they, them, z, zero, whatsoever gets hit by the brick must do the thing that I say. Deal? Yeah. You don't sound enthusiastic. No, it's a foam brick. Waka waka. I wouldn't throw a real brick at you. That's assault. So, you got it there? Now, when I was in hospital, a friend of mine named Jeff was across the room. And we spent a long time trying to read each other's minds. Didn't have anything else to do. We got some of those little, those cards, like the psychic cards from Ghostbusters. And I got pretty good at it. And I discovered that it is perfectly possible to lock eyes with someone, travel to the 5th dimension, take their thoughts from their brain, transmit it across space, entering my cranium, and exiting my fingers, and using my award-winning artistic abilities, I can render someone's very thoughts flesh on paper. Sound exciting? Woo! All right. I would like you to think of any number between 1 and 1,000. You got it? Lock eyes with me. Travel to the 5th dimension. Oh, you have to wiggle or it doesn't work. Oh, there it is. Excellent wiggling. See, I can see it there. Of course, that's the one that everyone is. There it is, just next to your PIN number, of course. First one's always pretty easy. Was that number 17? No, it was not 17. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now just out loud so we know there wasn't any cheating. What was that number? 53. Not even close. Can you throw that brick to somebody else? All right. Now for you, madam, I would like you to think of any 4-legged animal. Any animal of 4 legs, right? Get a wiggle or it doesn't work. Of course it's there, next to the David Attenborough documentary that you saw when you were with your friend who's a different person whose name I cannot recall. Out loud for everybody, what was that animal?
A dog.
And you can see here, a dog. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sometimes when we see the truly mystical, it's hard to know how to respond. I'll take stunned silence over applause any day of the week. Throw that brick, somebody else, please. Bonk, right there. All right. You. I would like you to think of any supermarket item. Okay. Any item you'd find in a supermarket. Just picture yourself walking down the aisle. Oh, there it is. Maybe it's on sale. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's beans. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else that you think of. That's in your brain that you're thinking of. That's the one. See it there? I can see it. There it is. Of course. Of course. That is the easiest one that everybody. Yes, that's very simple. What was that supermarket item?
Carrot.
And you can see here the barcode for a carrot. Thank you. I have my brick back. It's expensive. And I was silly. But you see, over the course of my routine, I've put the emphasis on certain syllables. And I've read you down certain thoughts, certain ways of thinking, so that there's only one thought inside your brain. You are all sharing one single thought simultaneously. You could try and think another thought, but you cannot, for there is no room inside your brain for any other thoughts other than the single thought that I've placed inside your brain. No room for anything other than the thought. This guy is silly. You're right, that didn't deserve applause. It was stupid. Thank you for... Where's the orb of mystery? It's just there. It has survived through the entire show. On the left. And before the show, I went into a mystic trance, because you see, you can't actually read people's minds, but you can see the future. And I wrote down a prediction, and I put it just here, inside. And you, sir, can you come unfold this and read it to everyone in your best third grade reading voice? I haven't touched it. He's small, see, it's fine.
I had a mystic vision where I did on O's one show and even got a standing ovation for correctly predicting 3 things. The number is 53.
Oh, wow.
The animal is dog. The item is carrot. Guess I'm silly and ovation worthy.
Thank you. So that's my story, right? And that's the show. But what's the takeaway? What's the thing that you get to take home? And I figured out the moral when I was very sick. I was in the hospital, and all I had with me was a pack of cards, my pencil that I used to fill in. You can write your own drugs on your chart, and they'll just give them to you. And my pencil, right? Because if you carry around a pencil in your pocket, you can say, "I'm capable of basic self-care." You know what I mean? So I was in the hospital. I was very sick, and I had been fired from my job for the 3rd time because I was in hospital for too long. This was the 3rd time that I lost my job because of my health, and I was really stuck. And I was trying to make stuff balance. Right? If I could make this stuff fit together, then maybe my life would stop falling apart. I could have that stability. But I've been chasing for so long. All I wanted was to be able to keep a job and not fucking break, you know? And then, after a long, long night, I discovered that the only real certainty is knowing just how uncertain everything really is. And when you can balance with that knowledge, you start to find interesting things. Now, chronic pain is the #1 reducer of economic output in the entire world. But it takes something like pain to make you stop and appreciate things like the softness of your pet's fur. Now, Ajahn Chah says, wherever there is suffering, here too is the way out of suffering. He was not wrong. The only reason you know how shit you feel is because inside of you there is a knowledge of just how awesome it is possible. And I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, with enough practice, training, and dedication, it is perfectly possible on the worst day of your life to find the truest smile. My name is Steve Wilbury, entertainer on all your favorite social media platforms. Please give me a follow. I've had a lovely run here in Edinburgh. I hope you've had a beautiful night and continue to have a great rest of your days. If my stories touch something with you, I'm more than happy to chat afterwards. Sometimes people need to bleh.